So I think the issue of extradition may be a Herculean task for the Nigerian government. It may be a difficult task, an uphill task for Nigerian government when you are thinking of bringing the man Simon Ekpa from Finland to Nigeria, because it's very clear. One, Nigeria do not enjoy a extradition treaty with Finland. Two, if you have to do that, you must undergo pre-judicial process to determine whether the man will come here or not. And if you are doing that, it is not at the whim and caprices of the government of Finland, but a judge that will adjudicate over the case will be the arbiter to determine it. And in that case, Simon Ekpa himself will have his day in court. Nigerian legal team will have their day in court. He will argue why he do not want to come to Nigeria, and Nigerian legal team will argue why they want him in Nigeria. Upon the argument, the judge over there will give judgment, and the judgment will be fair, unlike what we have in some other part of the world. Let us look at this contentious issue of extradition and the possibility of extraditing Simon Ekpa from Finland to Nigeria. But I doubt if it is possible to extradite Simon Ekpa from Finland to Nigeria, going about what it takes to extradite someone from his country of abode to his country. One, we shall be looking at it from different point of view. Let us start from the point of extradition itself. I understand that Nigeria currently do not enjoy extradition treaty with Finland, but Nigeria has in the past signed extradition treaty with some countries like United Kingdom, the United States of America, I think South Africa, and a whole lot of countries. But currently, Nigeria do not enjoy any extradition treaty with Finland. And extradition treaty is just an agreement between one country and another. What it means is that if the country requests for the presence of any of her citizens, if there is a extradition treaty, it means that the country where the person resides is under obligation to hand over that person to his country of origin. In this case, Simon Ekpa have renounced his Nigerian citizenship. So to that extent, it's yet to be understood whether it is within the legal right of Nigeria to equally request for his presence in Nigeria. Hence, he have renounced his Nigerian citizenship. But again, even at extradition itself, even if one is to be extradited, we understand that it takes process. And the process has to be a pre-judicial process in the country of the person's abode. We understand that that formed the basis for Court of Appeal in Nigeria ruled that Nnamdi Kanu was extraordinary rendition from Kenya to Nigeria, because in the process of bringing Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya to Nigeria, there was no prejudicial process. What prejudicial process says is, if you are to be extradited, there will be court process in that country where you'll be given fair hearing. Of course, you'll be asked to know whether you wish to go to that country to face prosecution. And if you are not interested in going to that country to face prosecution, of course, you're given an opportunity to state your reasons. And that was lacking in Nnamdi Kanu's case. That is why his case was an extraordinary rendition, a situation where he was brought back from Kenya to Nigeria illegally without his consent. And we have seen Court of Appeal in Nigeria ruling in that regard. So looking at what is happening in the case of Simon Ekpa, one, Nigeria do not currently enjoy extradition treaty with Finland. And even if they do, for you to initiate such process, you must address it at the level of pre-judicial process, meaning you are bound to go to a court in Finland, where Simon Ekpa himself will have his day in court. Nigeria legal team will have their day in court. If he's not interested in coming to Nigeria, he will state his reasons, and if he's interested, he will just come. But if he's not interested, he will state his reasons, and the judge over there will take decision. Then again, I think this brings us to the point where it should be understood that it is not at the whim and caprices of the government of Finland, rather the judiciary or the judge that will handle it if it gets to that level, because it is not the government that will adjudicate. The government is not an arbiter in this regard. It is the court that will virtually rule over it and take decision. Then looking at issue that has to do with his renouncing his Nigerian citizenship, that we are still going to look at from another perspective, because I think it will now depend on the judge to determine if somebody have renounced his citizenship, whether the country's initial country of origin have right to request for his presence for whatever reason or the other through extradition. That will be left for the court to decide. But I doubt if judging by Nigerian profile in terms of human rights violation, in terms of not adhering to rule of law, whether such country like Finland will want to release her citizen, because we understand that Simon Ekpa is a citizen of Finland, whether such country want to release a citizen to his initial country for prosecution. Because we have seen in the recent past, not just under this administration, but there has always been a serious issue in Nigeria where court will give order, Nigerian government may not want to adhere to that order, may not want to obey the court order. We have even seen instances where court will give an order, even after disobeying the court order, not showing their unwillingness to obey the order, talking about on the part of Nigerian government. The person involved may even go and secure a garnishing order. Garnishing order is an order compelling the government to obey an initial order. Even at that level, we have seen instances where the government will flout both the first order and the garnishing order. So to that extent, if somebody who the government seeks to extradite latch on those instances where Nigerian government disobey court order and show unwillingness to submit to rule of law, I don't think such country will want to extradite the person to Nigeria. Because citing the case of Sambo Dasuki in the past, I think that happened under Muhammad Buhari when he was facing prosecution. We have seen instances where he was granted bail, the government will not allow him to enjoy the bail. Severally, we can go on and cite issues that have to do with even Nnamdi Kanu himself, where court will give an order, the government will not comply with it. So when you see things of this nature, it doesn't portray the image of the country in good light at the international level. And when it comes to these issues like this, the individual involved may latch on to such things as a prerequisite to request that he don't have confidence in the judicial process of the country of his initial origin. We have equally seen the recent book and the controversy that trailed it. I'm talking about the book written by Faro Timi, talking about Nigerian judicial system. Even if an individual have taken it up with him, but looking at it holistically, without diving into his controversy with the man in question, because I understand that it is a case pending before a court of legal jurisdiction. Of course, anything we say in that regard may amount to prejudice. So, but without diving into their personal issues, looking at what he said regarding Nigerian judiciary, you can see that the whole international community is aware of the nature of Nigerian judiciary and what transpires within the jurisdiction of Nigerian judiciary. So those things are not speaking good of Nigeria at the international level, and it may work against the country when issues of extradition arose in any area, especially like this issue on ground. Then again, the man, Simon Ekpa himself, of course, we understand he is a politician in that country and he's well rooted in that country. So if you are looking at the country, since we do not enjoy extradition treaty with Finland, you are looking at the country using his discretionary power to take decision in such extradition process, because the Chief of Defense Staff in Nigeria have made it clear that Nigerian government have since submitted documents to Finland to kickstart the process of extradition. Just like I said earlier on, even if there is no extradition treaty between the two countries, it is not out of place for the country involved to say, okay, out of discretion, I want to take this action. But judging from that angle, Simon Ekpa himself is someone who is deeply rooted in that country. We understand he's a politician. He was into the military of Finland before perhaps he left the military and ventured into politics. So I don't think he's a pushover in the polity and politics of Finland. So to say that if the government want to use their discretion, that they may willingly want to give him away. So I think the issue of extradition may be a Herculean task for the Nigerian government. It may be a difficult task, an uphill task for Nigerian government when you are thinking of bringing the man Simon Ekpa from Finland to Nigeria, because it's very clear. One, Nigeria do not enjoy extradition treaty with Finland. Two, if you have to do that, you must undergo prejudicial process to determine whether the man will come here or not. And if you are doing that, it is not at the whim and caprices of the government of Finland, but a judge that will adjudicate over the case will be the arbiter to determine it. And in that case, Simon Ekpa himself will have his day in court. Nigerian legal team will have their day in court. He will argue why he do not want to come to Nigeria, and Nigerian legal team will argue why they want him in Nigeria. Upon the argument, the judge over there will give judgment, and the judgment will be fair, unlike what we have in some other part of the world that may not be fair, because to an extent, I think the Finnish government, the Finnish judiciary is tested and trusted. There is that confidence that they will not pervert justice. But however, I think the bottom line is the government of Nigeria should look at how to address all the issues of agitation. Whether you call it Ududu agitation, whether you call it Arewa, whether you call it Biafra, there's need to address it. And to address it is to summon courage to bring everybody on board to have conversation on it. Because someone like Professor Woloshenka have said repeatedly that Biafra is an ideology, and you cannot defeat an ideology through the barrel of gun. It must be through ideological point of view. I think I must say very big thank you for your time. This is Satellite Media, and I'm Mr. Matthew. Thank you very much.